What trim model is your truck?
A Lariat.
Lariat.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine too.
Yep.
I'm the only one without a Lariat. How dare you guys?
XLT.
Yeah, I
You're
know.
slumming it with the XLT.
His has a really nice screen in it.
I still
Mine doesn't.
cannot
Mine's got
believe
pretty basic screen
being
in
an
it.
XLT leather was not an option.
I know.
You could
That's
not
why,
get it as an option.
No,
that really
That's why I
bugged me.
went with the Lariat, because I wanted leather.
Yeah.
And I wanted heated and cooled seats.
Yeah. Trust me, that really bugs me. There was actually another truck I was looking at. It was on a whole different thing, listener, that I've got a 2023 F250 about last year. And due to circumstances, I had to make really quick judgment of which one I was going to pick. And I actually saw it was between a bright red F250, the one I'm currently with, crew cab with a 6.7 motor, but has a 6 3/4 foot bed in the back.
Yeah.
Short bed.
Mine too.
They all do.
But
the
I
F350 has the long bed.
that's the thing is
You can get it.
I was debating.
Mine's a short.
I found at the same time
I
I
think all
found
of
a
us have the
20.
same truck.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 2023, same color, but it was an F350 with a winch, high output diesel motor. It was the Lariat version, cloth and cooled seats, 8-foot bed, gooseneck ready, pro power, everything I wanted.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a super cab.
Oh.
And
it wasn't 4-door.
It wasn't 4-door because that truck, if a super cab would be fine if it's just me in there.
Yep.
But having the potential of transporting people, I'm like, that's not big enough. And a crew cab with an 8-foot bed's too big.
They're huge.
Those new trucks are giant.
Yeah. I mean, it's bad enough parking the ones we have, honestly.
It's just the new F250 alone is 2 feet longer than my Excursion.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And imagine having an 8-foot bed. That's 4 feet longer than the Excursion.
Yeah.
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 Perfect.
The 8-foot bed's really long. It does make turning into parking spots and stuff a pain in the butt.
I honestly,
but mine's gooseneck, right? Because I have that gooseneck trailer that I haul. But yeah, that thing is awesome. That's kind of why when I found out that you could get it factory with the gooseneck setup, because my old F350, I had to put that in, and that was fine. It's not that hard to do. But when I found out you could get new ones with it already installed, I'm like, I'm getting that package for sure.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's really good.
Problem I've got with the truck now is, do I wait until I trade in and get the truck I want and get the Lariat edition with the cloth or the leather and everything else? Or do what I normally do and just tinker with the truck and, upgrade the interior and everything else?
How long are you planning on driving?
I don't know.
He'll probably keep it forever and never trade it in.
Yeah. If it gets to that point, probably. But I also don't want to tinker it because it's under warranty.
Yeah, you can't really now. You got to drive it as is.
Yeah.
Which, big deal. It's not hurting nothing.
So,
does cloth seats, do they not have heat?
They have heat.
He's got
That's
heat.
the big thing I want.
No AC.
No AC.
No AC.
No butt fan.
But it's also tough because
I like the butt fan.
I do too.
I have to have seat covers on it because anything that you spill or anything, it absorbs straight in those seats.
Yep.
And I'm like, this is the worst idea ever.
Oh, it would be
Especially
awful
for
if
you.
you spilled on our seats because we have holes in them
Yeah.
for the fans.
I have a story about
Yeah,
that.
but then it'll leak to the floor then, so you're good.
So for the listener out there, we got obviously 3 pretty similar trucks. It's the most America thing ever sitting next to each other.
What color is your truck, Grant?
Red.
Color?
Bright red.
All right, my truck is white.
And I'm obviously blue.
Listener, that was an accident.
All 3 of us started with Fords. All 3 of us now have Fords.
Did not mean for that to happen. It's a show, though, when we drive down the road together.
Oh, yeah. And right now, currently, we have the red truck pulling the red trailer. We have the white truck pulling the big white trailer.
Yep.
And Jeremy has the blue truck with no trailer.
No trailer. So when you
Letting us down, Jeremy.
when you get in a trailer, it's got to be blue.
It's got to be a blue trailer.
Oh, it
If
has to be.
If it's not, we're getting that thing wrapped. It's gonna be blue.
Have to
Jeremy's cramping.
I got a calf cramp. It's making me cry. I need a banana.
Great radio, bro. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. All right, I kind of lost track. All right, so
projects.
America.
yeah,
That's what we're going to talk about. Who's
I
going
think
first
so.
on that? I think Jeremy should talk about first with his
I
project.
think he should.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely me. So, I am a failure.
You were
don't
not.
currently
You
have
you were a beautiful man.
my house right now is my project.
There
It
you
is
go.
completely gutted, but I've got a mechanic in there working on it.
Me?
No, okay.
Oh.
So I have a
House
I have a
mechanic.
house
It's a
mechanic
house
in there.
mechanic.
He's
That's pretty legit.
I got a pretty good guy in there doing the work. So
Can we talk about Jeremy's project he had in the past then?
His previous project.
the
'cause
It's on the list.
Porsche 924.
That was
That's
the
the
car
one.
that I think introduced me to you, right? Or led to eventually me introduced to you. I missed that car.
Were you on the other show first, or were you? I think you were on the other show.
I think I was on the other show first, but that's also the
Yeah.
same time I saw the car. So the listeners, well, you tell the story.
I'll tell the story.
Yeah.
So, we had a similar show that's never aired, called a similar name.
With a
with-
similar cast.
Well, half the cast is here.
Yeah.
We traded in the rest of the cast for a better crew member.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Elvis, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
Grant showed up one day and was like, "You need a project." And I'm like, "I don't think my wife will let me have a project." "You need a project." "Well, I don't really have room." "You've got room. You're getting a project."
I'm very convincing.
I love it.
And I'm like, "Well, what do you got?" And he's like,
I don't got anything.
"I know a guy that's got a Porsche 924 and he's just trying to give it away." And I'm like, "Really?"
And this ain't selling. I'm like,
I'm like-
literally giving it away.
I hemmed
Wow.
and hawed about it, even though it was free. And I'm like, I don't really have room at the house. Where am I going to put this thing? And my wife's not on board, right?
Can you please describe to listeners the beauty of this car?
So let me get to the car.
Okay.
Okay. My wife does not like junk laying around.
No.
She didn't want a car on the street that she couldn't fire up and drive, and she didn't want a car in the garage that was going to take up, all of the area to get to our washer and dryer and all of this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I did have the squat rack
Yep,
already in there.
You did.
So Grant talks me into it. He actually talked my wife into it.
Yeah, more importantly.
More importantly, he talked my wife into it. And here was the deal my wife gave me. You can have it. You have 1 month to get it running.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You have 1 month to get it running. And then if it's not running, it's got to go. So I'm like, okay.
And she didn't see it at the time, right? I just described to her this.
She had not seen
Yeah.
it. We did tell her all the parts were there. I hadn't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Rob, so if you ever need me to convince someone without them seeing it, let me just tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a boat in Romania for sale right now.
I'm
And it
interested.
could be yours.
I'm in.
So anyway, I'm like, we got her talked into it. I got 1 month. We go and pick the car up on the Ryan's flatbed trailer, right?
Yeah. And,
So-
and I wasn't there for that, surprisingly. I heard about the story of you guys getting it there.
Oh yeah, it was.
So I
was
convinced them
not
into
easy.
the car, and I wasn't even there.
So
Wow.
I went.
What a
and-
good friend.
I went and met
The
this
best.
guy. God, what's his name now?
Gene.
Gene. I met Gene, and car was on jack stands, and it was not ready to go.
Ugh.
So,
But
I'm
it
like-
was a beauty.
I'm like looking at this thing, and it's a pretty color. So it's a Porsche 924, had all the parts. Not all of them were on the car, but it had all the parts. There's a bunch of stuff in the trunk, and it was a good looking car. It was a
Basket case,
yeah.
basically.
No.
Was the
Um,
motor in
Motor
place?
was in
So-
the car.
Okay.
Everything was in place. Mostly what he had going on was he was replacing the brake system.
No.
Yes.
Kinda.
No. He was replacing the brake system.
Okay.
The brakes were completely tore apart. The wheels were not on the car, and the car was up in the air. He had painted the calipers like a yellow color.
Yep.
I mean, that's, just screams quality.
Yeah, and he had the most basic rotors you could get, and not all the brake lines were in place. There were double brake lines in some places. It was a little sketchy.
Yeah.
We backed the trailer in, got the tires on it and the whole 9 yards, and we pushed it up onto the trailer. And were you at my house when we pulled it off?
No, I wasn't there for that.
Okay, so I had a couple guys over at my house helping when we got it home. And we had it pointing
Nose in or
backwards.
not? Okay.
So it was motor toward the back of the trailer, front toward the back. And the guy pulled into my driveway, up the driveway, and scraped the freaking driveway all the way up with the bottom of his
Gouged
trailer.
it. Okay, so listener needs to know your driveway is
Is
rather
steep.
Deep.
It's downhill road coming to your house.
Yep.
And then the driveway is steep up off of that.
Yes.
Kind of the opposite direction. It's,
Yeah. On one side,
yeah.
it's really steep. On the other side, it's just pretty steep.
Yeah.
And it's not very long. It's long enough to park a car on
Right.
the uphill side. And you can't get a car on the downhill side. It's just too steep.
Yeah. Better have a good brake.
I don't even think you
chocks
could.
on the tires.
I don't even think you could back your truck up onto it. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
On that side, yeah, it's too steep. And he pulled up the less steep side with the trailer, and the back of it drug up. And then once he got it up to where it was pretty close to the garage, the back of the freaking trailer was almost at the top of the garage
Yeah,
door.
pointed up.
And I'm like, yeah, you're going to have to pull that back down so we can actually, pull it off the trailer. And he pulls back down, and it's like, it scrapes all the way down. Well, I had bought a $40 ratchet strap, or a couple $40 ratchet straps.
Yeah.
The good car ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he sheared it off.
Oh.
I'm like, well, I guess that's a one-time use.
Did the car move when it came loose?
No, we had the brakes on,
Okay.
and
I'm
it might have
surprised
been
the brakes worked.
It might have
Right.
been chalked. Actually, I don't think the brakes did work. I think the e-brake worked,
Oh,
but
okay.
the brakes did not.
Gotcha.
I think
Yeah,
they had a drum rear brake.
Yeah.
So anyway, we got it off the trailer, and
How did you push it up that hill?
With a lot of strength and a lot of willpower.
We had a couple come-alongs,
Okay.
and my
Hook it to the house and just drag it in.
kinda
Yeah.
my squat rack.
Oh, okay.
I had in there. I had put bolts
Pinned it
into
to
the floor.
Yeah.
And what we did was we took a chain and went to two of the bolts and bolted the chain down to the floor, and then hooked the ratchet strap or the come-alongs up to that. And
where
pulled
there's
it
a
in.
will, there's a way. We're gonna get this
Oh,
thing
yeah,
in the garage.
exactly.
Yeah. So oh man, one of the guys that was helping us is an engineer, so we had a lot of jerry rigging going on. But it was relatively safe.
Okay.
It was
I
relatively
was gonna
safe.
say,
Yeah.
He's an engineer, mind you. Not a safe one.
No, it was so every time we readjusted the come along,
Yeah.
we would strap like another chain with a toe strap to the car so that it wouldn't move backwards.
Sure. Yeah.
And then we would undo the ratchet strap or the ratchet and pull it out, and then readjust, and then start pulling again.
Yeah.
So it was relatively safe.
Is that a picture of
I
the car?
can't.
Is that
I've
it?
been searching.
That's
trying to find
not the car,
That's what I
but that's
thought.
what it was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
924.
because so
Yeah.
Jeremy's. Do you mind if I take for a second to talk about that car?
No.
Okay.
You wait.
I have to wait.
So I'll tell you, the interior was gorgeous.
It was
Really?
immaculate.
The
No, it
exterior
was-
was pretty good.
Okay.
Everybody liked the color. It was a really pretty blue purple color.
Okay.
Yeah.
It needed a lot of work when I got it on the motor, and the brakes still needed to be done. I did get the brakes all put back together and correctly,
Mm-hmm.
and then Grant and Cy and Ryan all came over one weekend, and after my wife had told me, "You're coming up on your time,"
Damn.
we got it to fire.
Yeah, we
Nice.
did.
Yeah.
We got it to fire,
Yeah.
and it ran for probably a solid 30 seconds.
Cool. Yeah, but it ran.
And
No,
then
kinda.
hold on, and then it petered out, but it fired and it ran.
Yeah.
Okay. I walk around the front of the car, and there is a shotgun pattern of oil all over the ground. I looked at Grant, I looked at Cy and Ryan, and I'm like, "Car's got to go."
Yep.
Yeah, not gonna make it.
Yeah.
Not gonna make it.
And Ryan's looking at me like, "But you did it. You got it to fire." And I'm like, "Yeah, we did. I'm very proud of that. But
Goodbye.
that's more work than I was willing to do.
Yeah.
Car's got to go."
So where did the oil come from?
It was spraying out of the side of the block. I don't
Oh,
know if
God.
it was the oil pan or
So you never researched it was a hole or a
well,
gasket? Or
it was definitely a gasket.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of those people that if I pull the motor and if I have the motor out and I've got to do a gasket replacement, I'm not doing that gasket.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing the entire motor.
Yeah, I mean, you got it
Yeah.
out. It's not like,
Yeah.
it's dumb.
Yeah.
Just to,
And it would have been completely torn down.
And
you can
would
do it
have
inside
got-
of 3 days. Come on.
Well,
it would have got new connecting rods, new pistons.
The
It
hardest
would've-
part with that car was just finding parts. Remember how long we had to find for
Oh, yeah.
O-rings for the injectors?
It took a long time.
That was
a long time.
That's surprising.
yeah.
I probably researched it for a couple weeks before I got all the parts
Yeah.
that we needed to get it fired up.
Wow.
Okay, now I can talk about that car.
Yes.
Okay, that's the thing. So back to projects. So my good friend Gene owned that car before Jeremy, and the biggest thing was when Gene got that car, it was so close to being done.
Mm-hmm.
Like we went up to, I think not Bremerton, not Bothell, way up north in Washington, north
North of Everett.
Everett.
Probably.
Went up to Everett to go pick it up. We drove 5 hours of the excursion, towed it back, and the guy was just giving away stuff pretty much at that.
Was his name John?
No.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, I got another day, another story of a vehicle I almost bought there. But
Okay.
that was a whole different thing.
Okay.
But this car, it just needed a little bit of engine work, and one thing I told Gene, I was like, you need to just focus and stay on path and do one at a time. Don't go wild. You're gonna have crazy ideas and be like, oh, I can do this, this, this.
Listen to where this
I
is
know.
coming
Yeah.
from right now.
Yeah.
I'm over here
I-
cringing
I
right
know.
now.
I know.
I've had enough projects where I know don't follow the squirrel. You stick and stay focused.
Bought a fucking squirrel after you talked him into that.
Oh my gosh. Listener
And
needs
we'll
to know
talk-
Grant can't follow a straight line.
No, I go sideways around it while
That's
music's
right.
playing.
Yeah.
Squirrel. So, it was less than 3 days. I came back to his house, and he's like, "You won't believe it." So I found out if I take the brakes apart, I could put 944 brakes onto it, and then I'll go from drums in the back to calipers. And I did some research. There's a possibility to put a supercharger onto it, and from a BMW, I just got to custom make the manifold, and then from there,
Not a BMW.
it was
It was out of a Mercedes. I have the supercharger.
The supercharger.
Oh, you still
He's
have
like,
it?
I could buy
yeah.
He's like, I could buy an independent. Like, he had half the motor ripped apart. It was on Jackson's. All the wheels were off of it. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, it's still, Gene, at the point where you could put it back together and just get it to run, because it was the best interior I've ever seen on one of those cars. Because normally you got leather
in
cracked,
immaculate shape.
or you've got like it just ripped. Because it was,
Oh yeah. I mean, it's an
Perfect.
old car. To have it.
Yeah.
There was not one crack.
yeah,
Yeah. That's
The steering wheel, when you grabbed a hold of it, spun.
little
rotate
bit.
a little bit.
But even
It
the
was-
steering wheel was in good shape.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then the paint wasn't too bad. It needed to be repainted, but I mean,
It was not the stock color.
It was not, but at like probably 15 to 10 feet away, it would be passable. Of like, wow, that's actually really nice.
15-footer.
Yeah,
Oh, she was.
but
a 10-footer.
it just needed a little bit of engine work, you know. But
Where is it now?
Back up in Everett.
To the same guy?
No. Buddy of mine.
His name is John.
Lives up in Mount Vernon. Actually, came down and I had got drunk in Bend, Oregon, with him at his wedding.
Gave him a car.
I'm like, hey, I got a car if you want it. And he's like, I don't know. And we got more drunk. And he's like, what's that? What kind of condition is that car in? I'm like, it's in really good condition. I don't actually want to get rid of it, but, you know, it's more than what I'm willing to do. And I'm like, I just don't have space. And he's like, oh, I've got space. I'm like, come get it. I'll give it to you.
I taught Jeremy good negotiating skills.
He goes,
Yeah.
you'll give it to me? I'm like, yeah, free. I'll give it to you. One condition. What's that? When you're done, you got to give me a picture and a ride in it.
Yeah, I was like, only
Yeah.
a picture?
Yeah,
Come on,
exactly.
man. That's pretty easy.
I want a picture and I want a ride in it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Is it
know
done
he'll
yet?
let me drive it. No, he had some
Setbacks.
relationship
Some
issues.
setbacks, we'll call it.
Yeah, and
Still has it, though.
he still has it.
Yeah.
It's in the garage. He wasn't going to touch it until the
Relationship issues.
setback was
Yep.
completed,
Yeah.
and then he was going to start working on it
Yeah.
again. But he had a 427 sitting next to it, I guess.
I know somebody that could probably use that.
Me?
The 427, or
Yeah.
I will say this, though. If he never finishes it and puts it for sale, there's good possibility it's going to end in my shop. I really want to finish that car. Like, that car.
I got an idea. Now hear me out.
Okay.
Finish the one that's in there now.
Which one?
Yeah, there's multiples.
The white one. Finish the white one. Get it out of there so you can roll
The next
the
one.
yellow one back over there.
And then the red one, then the next red one, and then.
The red one needs to be done first, probably.
Yeah.
The red one needs to be done first.
Yeah, it does. Wait, which red one?
Oh,
The
I
one
didn't- I
in
didn't
the
know there
trailer.
Yeah,
It's
that
not in
one.
the
So-
trailer.
Am I?
The
You
one
want
that
me
you
to
need
do
to
this,
drive.
or do you want to do this?
I'll
Just-
do it.
yeah, you
How
do
are we
it.
doing this? Were you going through my projects now?
Yeah.
Talk about the white one that's sitting on the jack stands.
I feel like we should go in alphabetical order, the ones that
No.
have first.
No.
No.
I don't care.
No.
I will say this. This is an actual true statement. Every project car I own and every car I own has a story.
Mm-hmm.
Has a very good story. In
Well,
fact,
all
probably
cars
a good
that
section
you're
to
working
this
on
one.
have a story.
Let's start with how many project cars do you have?
Technically,
without listing them, just how many do you
4.
without Liger or with Liger?
have? With.
No,
With Liger?
Liger's not technically a project.
It does not run at the moment. It is a
Well,
project.
okay,
Well, she
that's
runs.
True.
Well. Okay.
Could you race her in the shape she is in right now?
to be fair, I did race her last year in the shape she was in
Yeah,
now.
he
That's
But
did.
true.
I'm
He
lucky
did.
I did not burn her to the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I have 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Do you want me to list them?
Yeah, I've got 4, right?
4 that I know. 4. Wait.
Technically 5
No,
now,
5.
right? Yeah, 5 now. 5
No.
technically.
I
Okay.
think it's
6.
There's 6?
6.
Oh.
You have 6.
6. Okay.
Thanks for listening to the Untitled Car Project podcast. We had some technical difficulties on that last show and lost a bit of content. So hopefully you'll tune in the next week or 2 weeks. Maybe I should say next show, or the next 2 shows. We're going to cover a lot of that content again. It's hard to remember where we went because there was a lot of tangents that happened. So hope you tune in. And if you want to check us out on Instagram, it's at Untitled Car Project, and you can also send us an email, untitledcarproject@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.